The Senate Judiciary Committee voted today on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court. The 22-person panel's vote was an 11-11 tie, as expected. A potential full Senate vote on Judge Jackson's nomination could come as soon as this week. For more, Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now. Caitlin is a political reporter for CBS News. Hi there, Caitlin. Good to see you again. So this is the week. Lawmakers are set to go, as I understand it, on recess pretty soon here. But what was the initial holdup with the Senate Judiciary Committee's vote on Judge Jackson today?
Hi, Elaine. Well, this was a really interesting dilemma that happened today. Remember how razor thin the majority is that Democrats have in the Senate. That means that they don't control all of the committees when it comes down to the vote. So on the Judiciary Committee is split 11 Republicans, 11 Democrats. So you need everybody to be able to show up in order to have this vote. What happened was the senator from California, Senator Padilla, was on a plane from California headed to Washington, but there was a medical emergency on his plane, so the plane had to go back to LA, and he had to get on a new plane and come back to Washington. So a lot of that delayed the Judiciary Committee actually moving to a vote, which they just held about 20 minutes ago. So that kind of shows how critical each vote is in a situation like this. Now, the committee was tied. It's a deadlocked committee. That means that right now, Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, has to go to the Senate floor and issue what's called a discharge position to move that vote out of the committee. To be able to do that procedure, that also requires a vote of the Senate, just a majority vote. They will have the votes. We expect that to happen tonight, which means that then it can proceed to the larger Senate, which, because we have learned that Susan Collins, the Republican of Maine, has said that she will vote for Judge Jackson, and all of the Democrats have said that they will vote for her, she is likely to be confirmed by the end of the week. And as you note, senators are eager to head out on recess by Friday, so we could expect a vote Thursday or Friday this week.
All right. Well, Republican attacks on Judge Jackson continued even this morning. Senator Lindsey Graham on how she would not have gotten this far if the GOP were in power in the Senate. Let's listen to some of that.
Live in America today where your ideology is held against you if you're a conservative, and when you're a liberal, we're supposed to embrace everything about you and not ask hard questions. That's not the world we're going to live in. And I'll say this, if we get back the Senate and we're in charge of this body, and there's judicial openings, we will talk to our colleagues on the other side, but if we're in charge, she would not have been before this committee. You would have had somebody more moderate than this.
So, Caitlin, it's interesting to listen to that. At this point, what is it that Republicans have to gain by continuing to go after Judge Jackson now?
Well, first of all, they want to make this a midterm election issue, and that's why you heard in their lines of questioning during the questioning process a couple of weeks ago, they really focused on her sentencing as a judge. They focused on issues related to crime and education. Critical race theory was a big theme of the Republicans' line of questioning. So they are trying to paint a midterm election picture, and you also have several potential presidential aspirants on that panel as well from the Republican side. So there was a fair amount of posturing going on there and trying to push that theme. But what Graham said is really interesting because it suggests how partisan these hearings have become and how partisan they figure to become in the future. He said that if Republicans were in control right now, Judge Jackson wouldn't have even gotten a hearing. And so that raises all sorts of questions about how judicial nominations are going to be handled by an increasingly divided Senate. This is a very divided Senate at this moment. Every vote counts, as we've discussed. So him bringing that up seems to be something of an election rallying cry of sorts to say if Republicans are in charge, that they could block the Democratic president's nominees. And they have a lot of grievances about how Democrats have held these nominations in the past, specifically pointing to Justice Kavanaugh. And so I think this really speaks to this moment that we're in. And, years ago, this used to be a very bipartisan exercise. Both parties would tend to agree that the president would be able to pick his nominee. The Senate had, would consider it, and most got bipartisan support. But over the past several years, we've seen that bipartisan support really shrink to razor-thin margins. Democrats did not support Kavanaugh. They did not support Justice Barrett last time around. So this really speaks to the highly partisan nature of this kind of hearing and the hearings to come.
And I think many Americans wonder if it could ever go back to those days of bipartisanship. Right. Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin, thank you.
Thank you.